Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 206th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we're doing a special WokeNFree Storytime called 21 Questions About Newborns. Oh, goodness. Can't wait for this one. Before we dive deep into the subject, a couple of things to cover. First, have you downloaded the episode on WokeNFree.com through the Podbean app? If you haven't, please do, because that's how you're able to join the conversation by adding your comments. If you don't have the app, you can't add your comments. Thus, we don't know what you're thinking. Total missed opportunity. So make sure you do that. Now, of course, if for some reason you can't download new apps on whatever device you listen to podcasts at, then go to WokeNFree.com, go in the listen tab and pick your platform of choice where you want to follow and subscribe to the show. So iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, obviously subscribe to our YouTube channel, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. Guys, it's a WokeNFree world. So make sure you go to any of those places and follow us there. Now, you can also subscribe to the show via email on our homepage at WokeNFree.com and encourage friends and family to do the same so that all y'all are woken free every single week with new email notifications of what the new episode is. So make sure you do that. Now, of course, you can always holler at us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. Oh my goodness, we're everywhere at WokeNFree. And then, of course, if you have 90 seconds, review the show on any of the platforms that you can review shows on. So again, WokeNFree.com, listen tab, pick your platform of choice. Thank you. Kicking it to you, Khalil.
All right. Then we should just get right into the episode, right?
Mm-hmm. So with that, then I would say question number 1, how much do you think newborns typically weigh?
I would just guess about 7 pounds would be normal weight, but that's just my educated guess. I don't know what the actual statistics show.
Okay. So according to kidshealth.org, and all links, guys, if you're not familiar with our platform, all links to the episodes are available on WokeNFree.com. So just make sure you click along if you'd like to read more. Newborns come in a range of healthy sizes. Most babies are born between 37 and 40 weeks and weigh somewhere between 5 pounds, 8 ounces and 8 pounds, 13 ounces. But of course, what did our son, KJ, aka Khalil Jordan Nurse, weigh in at 9 pounds, 3 ounces. Overachieving from jump.
The's
Yes.
not too bad.
Haha, yes.
Question 2. What has been the biggest surprise with our newborn KJ?
So there's a lot of surprises, but I would say the biggest one so far would be where he can go like from super calm to like peaceful, and he's like just like so enamored with all the milk that he's consuming, aka the formula milk that he's getting, to this like nuclear demon mode once he's hungry, because it goes from like peaceful like a lake to like a monsoon or something. It's to me that dramatic shift in energy is very surprising, because it's literally over just the basics of I'm hungry. But instead of like for adults, if you get really enraged, it's going to be something like, you lost your job or someone's leaving you, like something really traumatic to the level of degree of anger he displays. But what has been the biggest surprise for you?
Well, of course, my biggest surprise is how much he would want to eat. That was definitely surprising. I didn't think a baby could have that much, but the only thing I could say is maybe he's just really thirsty, actually.
True.
That's the only thing I give him, because he can't drink water. He has to just have the formula.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, question 3. How often do you need to change diapers with newborns?
I think it's probably as often as you feed them, which is like 1 to 3 hours. That's a good estimate. Okay,
yeah. So Pampers elaborates that experts recommend that you change your newborn's diaper every 2 to 3 hours or as often as needed. So specifically to like what you're saying. So your little one may urinate as often as every 1 to 3 hours and have between 2 and 5 bowel movements. So poo-poo with diapers, guys. And, the reason why you want to do that is for the following reasons. Overly wet diapers can contribute to the risk of diaper rash. Poop can irritate your baby's skin, and then leftover bacteria can lead to a bladder infection, especially in baby girls. So, yeah, definitely it's important to keep them nice and clean as much as possible.
All right. Question 4. How often do you need to feed a newborn?
So healthychildren.org, they recommend that newborns are going to eat every 2 to 3 hours or 8 to 12 times every 24 hours. And, they, the amount they recommend is awesome. They say they will usually drink 1 to 2 ounces at each feeding, and this amount will increase to 2 to 3 ounces by 2 weeks of age versus our child. I think started at 2 ounces and is now going at 6 ounces per feeding. Yeah. So, again, overachieving, guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, he doubled by the week 2, as they say. The numbers were showing that. And then I just think it's interesting that he likes to top up in the next hour sometimes. And it just, I guess it all depends on your baby, though.
Exactly.
Some babies are different.
Every baby's different. And also, as according to our pediatrician, babies that are born bigger tend to have a higher starting point of what they need to eat because, again, they are bigger, so they need more calories, and it's not a typical, he's not going to eat like a 5-pounder, right? It's just, that doesn't make sense. But Question 5, is it possible to sleep with a newborn?
Yeah, definitely it is, but just don't expect to get your sleep in a straight shot. You're going to have to break it up among the different hours you have to wake up to feed the child and change the diapers, of course.
Exactly. I would say, when people say you can't sleep with a newborn, no, that's not true. But yeah, to your point, it's more staggered sleeping. So that's really what we would recommend for if you're trying to prep for having a baby. How do you sleep? Prepare to sometimes get sleep in 2 to 3 hours or the 4 to 5. It just depends on your baby. And yeah, it's through the night, I would say. It doesn't always have to be so terrible, and it gets better as they get older. So, it's not horrible forever.
That's good to know. Question 6. How does COVID-19 change the landscape for newborns?
So for us, it's definitely, I think reduce the amount of people that would probably normally want to visit us. I mean, we moved to Arizona and most of our family is in New York. So it is, that's a distance, right? So that already is an impediment to people visiting. But I think with COVID, it's like another layer of like, oh, do I really want to get on a plane for 6 hours and then come see you guys? Not really. And then also I would say like COVID babies are a little bit different. I feel like he's super advanced. And so I don't know if that's just timing or, I don't know. But there's just like a running joke on social media that like COVID babies come out different. They're like a different breed of baby. And I'm tending to agree with that.
Yikes.
Yeah. What are your thoughts though?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it definitely has changed the amount of visitors that come to see the baby, but also based on where you live, that changed the amount of visitors, like you're saying. So I think either way, the quarantine has definitely changed things of how it would have been if there wasn't a quarantine. These babies are a little bit different. So
yeah.
It's a different experience having a baby during COVID-19.
Absolutely. Question 7, what is it like when you first meet your newborn?
I think there's nothing else like it to see this creation that we both created. It's kind of surreal and awe-inspiring at the same time. I can only see like the potential in him. That's all I see when I look into his eyes. Like, what can he be? I'm not really sure. It's like it's uncertain, but I'm sure that it's going to be great no matter what path that he takes. It's just crazy.
Absolutely. I would say one of the most precious moments of my life was when, and guys, I had a C-section with him. I wasn't able to give a natural birth with him, but that's okay because he was 9 pounds 3 ounces. So I'm really good with that decision.
Okay.
And hearing him cry was the most precious moment of my life because to your point, it's so surreal that like you go from being pregnant or having this possibility of having this baby and now they're there and they're like breathing and they're making noise. And it just, to me, just hearing him it made me cry. I was just very overwhelmed in the best of ways. And I think there's just such an incredible sense of like joy and relief and immense love to meet this like newest, most important person in your life. And to your point about, the potential, it's like, it's so incredible. It's also like so overwhelming of like, who will this person be and what will he need in life? And will I be able to give him and deliver everything that I need to give for him? But it's also just like, I've never felt more wanted or needed by another human being. and so, cause people can be very fickle and they can love you and disregard you left and right, self included. Wow. And I would say that like with KJ, the way that he looks at me, no other human being will ever look at me the way that he looks at me, because he needs me in a way that no one else needs me, right? Like, you're a grown-up. You can get your own food.
Oh, really? Even a co-host?
Yes, you can clean your own behind.
A co-host can do that.
You can clean your own behind.
I'm just saying, what can a co-host actually do?
Yes, a co-host can clean their behind and they can eat their own food. But my child, he needs me for everything. And that is, incredibly honorable. And also just like, I feel very privileged that he chose me to be his mother, and that I have to better myself for him each and every day.
That's good. Question 8. What are your biggest concerns on a daily basis?
Just wanting to keep him physically safe and emotionally comforted, to reduce crying, because the crying bit is just hard. I don't know how other mothers feel, but it just feels like he's just like the world is falling apart. And it just seems so upsetting, even though it is usually over milk and it's nonsensical at best. But still, It's just wanting him to be happy, and just, I love when he smiles, and I just want him to be happy and safe and just comfortable. And anytime he's not, it's just like, oh gosh, what do I need to do?
Yeah, making sure he's safe is number one for me. So I want to make sure he's cool, he's exercising, and he's in good health.
Absolutely.
And it's, this is a new experience for us.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's definitely an interesting journey.
Question 9, what would you say are the best moments you've had so far with KJ?
I like when he just looks at me and he makes his baby sounds. I think that's the best. It's pretty funny. I don't know what he's trying to say or what he's trying to communicate, but that's my favorite moments with him.
Absolutely. Oh gosh. I mean, every day it's hard and amazing at once, all at once. But I would say, every time he smiles, it just makes me so happy. It just is like, oh gosh, like he's happy baby.
That's so rare.
And he smiles every day.
Yeah, but it's not a lot of times, though.
No, and that's why, every time I see it, it's it's so empowering. And then also, the noises that he makes, and the good noises. I hate the noises he makes when he sleeps. Yeah, those are terrible.
Oh, no, not those sounds.
Grunting, pterodactyl.
When he's actually looking at me and he makes a sound.
Yeah, those are super, when he's like, ooh,
yeah,
and then he
makes some high-pitched sounds. Gosh. It's kind of funny.
I feel like, having him in my life makes me feel like I have this person who'll just, I can just love forever, and I'll just always want time with him, and he's magical. He's my magical baby.
Magic. Question 10. How has having a newborn changed your life?
So instead of waking up and thinking about what Natasha needs, everything is about KJ. From when I sun up to sundown, it's all about him. And so you go from living your life of what do you need and how do you need to perform and what do you want to what does your child need, and then fitting in you thereafter. And so, I think that, and for me, I don't know, I don't talk to a lot of other mothers, but for me, that's I think the biggest shift of your life is no longer yours, it's your child's.
All right, it's made me want to spend more time with him rather than doing things that are just on my own. So I definitely miss him when I'm away from him. That's a new thing. Missing this new being.
Sweet baby. Absolutely. Question 11. Do you feel like a different person after having KJ in your life now?
I would say the only different way that I feel is like currently I'm more of a zombie because of the lack of normal sleep routine. So that's the kind of difference to me. But other than that, I don't think I've changed that much.
Absolutely. I would say I don't feel like the same person because I'm not living life the same way, right? To your point, we're definitely sleeping, but it's getting used to staggered sleeping.
Walking Dead.
Okay, I'd like to be a little bit less dramatic for folks.
Oh, but that's good though to be the walking. I mean, well, maybe not. I don't know.
Okay, think about that.
Well, not all the parts, but but I'm saying it's you got to fight against the urge. It's like that movie we saw where they grew a heart and you were a zombie. Remember?
Oh yes,
Hearts
Warm
grow,
Bodies.
Oh, that's what it's called. Yeah, see, it's like that.
I love that.
See,
movie.
You grow beyond your weakness.
They were so cute. I love that.
That was funny.
And your priorities change. My hormones are definitely, not still fully adjusted. I mean, we're, I think, 5 weeks plus right out. So it's, it's going, I think it's hard to say you're the same person if your life totally changes, right? So for me, I would also say I'm different. I don't necessarily know fully zombie-like, but just trying to figure out who the new Natasha is. It's a new identity, right? Being a parent is now a new identity for us.
All right. Yeah, that's true. Question 12. What has been the biggest challenge with KJ so far?
trying to predict what's going to happen next. Like, you think you're going to change a diaper and then, oh, he poops again, or he pees on you, or everywhere. Or you're trying to milk him and then he falls asleep and he doesn't want to milk, feed him. So it's trying to like better understand him and what his needs are to be able to satisfy him and keep him nice and calm and not a screaming banshee.
Yeah, that's definitely tough.
It's the goal, guys.
I just think it's very hard to it seems hard to predict how much will he actually eat. That's the biggest thing to me.
We have to play this for him when he can understand.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't know. That's the biggest conundrum in my mind. I don't understand.
Baby pit.
Because I just wish you knew. It's like, all right, this time I want this amount. So all right, I'll give you that amount. Are you good? Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll take seconds of this amount. Okay. So I'll give you that amount.
Yeah.
And then we're good. But it's nothing like that. It's
No.
like, I'll try. All right, I'm going to give you this big amount. And you're not going to finish it. Thank you. Now I got to throw this out. See?
Yeah, he's just,
That's
I
messed
think
up.
you're waiting for the toddler stage where he can be like, can I have a cup of juice?
Yeah, I just want to
Like, yeah.
understand what's going, how much are you eating? I just want to know straight up. No jokes.
Absolutely. Question 13. What would you say is your best advice for parents with newborns or going to have newborns?
I think every baby is different, so be patient. And I think you should actually consult with your pediatrician. That's good advice.
Yes.
Instead of just random people trying to give advice.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion.
Okay. I would say stay flexible and know things will always get better, right? If you're having a hard time with them, like maybe, for those who have colicky babies or babies that, maybe they're not latching on and you're trying to do breastfeeding and it's like really challenging. Just like try to be patient with yourself and your baby, because remember the baby was inside of the woman, and now they're outside and they're trying to figure out what this world is. They're learning how to breathe a new way. They're learning how to eat a new way. So they too, it's a learning curve for the parent and the child. And I think people forget that. They're like, why can't you just act right, baby? And it's like, because the baby doesn't understand what the heck is happening. So they're trying to figure this out. And so you have to have a little patience and empathy for them as well as yourself, because you don't know what's happening because you don't speak baby. So it's a lot of learning, guys.
I know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Question 14. Can you see yourself in KJ?
So physically, I would say KJ, it looks like you, right? Like, so you cloned yourself, like you watched Star Wars, Clone Wars, and you wanted one yourself. So good job, Dad. Good job.
Smart.
But personally, I would say from certain characteristics, I feel he's super dramatic, especially like wanting to eat. I feel like no one should be that angry. That's just absurd. Like, it's just completely unreasonable. Even though I just said, the earlier breath not to be so, but he is. I mean, he's really unreasonable. I mean,
Smart.
No one should turns into like a vampire. Like,
Yeah, that seems opposite of me.
Okay, well.
No, because I'm very cool, calm, and collected. That's
Whatever.
That's my motive.
We're supposed to be honest,
C's.
Khalil.
Triple C's, no, but you love that about me. You're like, wow, I can't even get a pipe out of you.
No
You're
comment.
so cool.
No comment.
No, you like, I wish my husband was a little more
I plead
dramatic.
the fifth.
No, you do. Sometimes you look at me like, husband, can you be more dramatic? And
Get
I
a
say,
grip.
wife, I cannot be.
Get a grip, Khalil.
I tell you that. Wife, I cannot be as dramatic as
Get
you
a grip
expect.
Bit. But so that super dramaticness might come from my side, which is, unfortunate. And being silly, I think he's like sometimes very silly. He likes to sit up and like look at the world and contemplate what's happening. And he's very introspective. I feel like that's also like me. And so now, as he grows up, if he likes horror movies and he's a great public speaker, then he's also my clone too. So
No, that's a different meaning.
I think that's,
Your definition of clone is
then
different.
we both win here. So it's a win-win situation.
All right. I feel this situation is a win for me situation because
Okay.
he looks like me, but he definitely cries like you.
You're a fool.
He gets that personality from you. He's very dramatic and he likes to take things overboard. That's what I would say.
Because he's a big personality.
Because it was weird because I was a calm baby.
Get out of here. Talk to your mother and try again.
Oh, all right. If you say
Yeah.
so, I don't know.
Si, senor. Question 15. How does having a newborn impact your relationship with, your baby mama or baby daddy?
That's easy. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it makes having personal time is definitely more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And learning to manage that is a very tough task because
Absolutely.
you gotta prioritize the baby, but you do have to spend time with your significant other. It just makes it hard. It makes it hard during quarantine as well.
Absolutely.
Because you can't do as many things as you used to be able to do. So.
And then
now you
also
got the
taking
baby.
out the baby, it's...
Yeah, to try to bring the baby along with these activities that you used to do is not the same. Some of them you just shouldn't do. Like, it's bad etiquette to bring a baby to a movie theater. Even.
Correct. Well, it's not ideal if you can.
It's bad etiquette, though.
Yeah.
You could say it's not ideal, but it's literally bad etiquette.
I know. I just don't want to shame people who do it.
No, it's not. I'm not shaming you. I'm just saying you don't have etiquette. Okay. Isn't that good?
No, I mean, because you're putting
that's a bad thing?
Well, remember, it's like we don't want to put out that, unsolicited advice, right? Kind of thing. So it's like, the idea is that for us, we don't believe. For us, it's going to be an action.
So I'd say, please bring your baby that's going to cry during the movie where you're supposed to all be silent.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Unless you literally have a baby that's silent, then I can't say anything. Because, I didn't know your baby was there. But when you bring a baby that's going to,
that's
cry
upsetting.
At the drop of a hat, you don't even know when they're going to cry. They're hungry. Like, I don't know. To me, a movie is not an ideal situation.
It's just not ideal, yeah.
So I'm not the person to say, now I know people say don't bring your babies to the restaurant. Now I'm not.
Again, everyone has to make their own decision.
That I can't say call on because the restaurant is public and people are talking, so who cares? But I know some people would say, please don't bring your baby to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So I would say so far we've been pretty good being, kind of a team, playing the team sport of, hey, let's, I'll take this time, you take this shift and, working with him on the parenting journey. I would say, are there opportunities where you might snap at your significant other or your, baby mama or baby daddy? Absolutely. Because you're tired, you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and you also have to try to be nice to each other, right? Like it's just it's the perfect storm for just being like a kind of a bit of an asshole version of yourself. But again, this too shall pass. And so, the goal is to again, while you're being patient with your baby, patient with yourself, please be patient with your significant other because everyone is learning and everyone is trying to figure out how to make this work. And it changes, right? Week 1 is different from week 3, which is different from week 7, which is different from week 12. So it's an ongoing journey, and just giving everyone grace in this process, I think, is going to make it easier to navigate.
Question 16, has having KJ impacted your relationship with friends or family?
Great question. So, as most people know about me, or if you don't know, I don't really have a ton of friends. So the ones that I have been super supportive and constantly want pictures and want updates on KJ, which is super sweet and makes me feel like we're not in this alone. As for family, I would say most folks in my family I communicate with on social media. So they see my posts and they like it and all of that good stuff. So, status quo there, nothing's really changed there. I would say they just are probably more engaging on social media because I'm posting more because I am that mom who's like, look at my baby. So it's a little bit much. But ultimately I would say just the biggest change is the focus, right? So maybe I was posting a lot about love or business or, different things. And so right now just kind of in this baby mode. And so it's mostly about KJ. So thus the conversation and the topics is all about him. So,
Yeah, I think it actually makes the family that you are close to closer and more interested in what's going on in actually our lives. And it's just because we have this brand new life to take care of. They want to make sure that he gets like the best of care. So I think it does help in that manner. And then friends will also be interested in, knowing what's going on with them. But yeah, it's not like we have such a big circle that we're going to hear a lot from these friends. So I just think the family actually, that aspect has become a lot more interested in our lives.
Absolutely. I guess, and I would also shout out to my mom who's, been here and supporting and all of that. And that's a newer, kind of development because of KJ. So he's, kind of bringing more familiar relationships closer. So magic baby. Question 17, does having KJ change your outlook on life?
My outlook has not actually changed. I just know I want to make sure he is prepared for this life. He's our future, and when we're gone from this planet, we need to make sure he's going to cultivate success for everybody to come after him and after us. So I just want to make sure he has the tools for success, but I don't know. My outlook hasn't changed. It hasn't been like, all right, now because he's born, now I know humanity's saved or something, or humanity's not saved. Like it hasn't changed me philosophically, to be honest.
Fair. Okay. I would say having a kid, at least from my perspective, makes me more concerned about the safety of children as a whole on a whole new level because, this is a new life into the world that we eventually will have to put into programs and be around people that we don't necessarily, aren't running background checks on. So can I do this and not have a breakdown? Like, is this okay? But I do want to be optimistic about opportunities for kids to learn and grow and that, the people that want to do right by children continue to stay in those spaces and the people who don't do right are hopefully more and more are culled out of the herd, because people are not tolerant of, that and people are getting exposed for their, heinous acts.
Yeah. And then people aren't able to just even develop to make those heinous acts. Everything's being caught early on, like symptoms of problems. That's the future. Question 18. Why do you believe potential postpartum depression of mothers is only a concern for medical professionals?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I've taken about 3 tests now about postpartum depression, and I just think it's interesting that none of these tests are also given to you, the father, because, at the end of the day, whether I'm depressed or not is not the only person interacting with the baby. But if you're depressed, then that creates a risk for him. And so maybe they just feel that there's an assumption in the medical industry that the mother's postpartum depression is going to have a greater impact on the baby than if the father is depressed. But ultimately, I think mental health of all parties involved need to be prioritized because I would say, it is easy to get down and to have the baby blues, and you have to be mindful of monitoring everything. I know I personally have had some rough weeks as well. But what do you think? What are your thoughts there?
Well, I mean, my thoughts are that we're just in a sexist world where men are like bull and they must be strong. But there are cases of men having depression after having children.
Definitely.
And people don't think about it. What do you think is going to happen to the women that are with these men? These men could get abusive towards the female and towards the child. So I mean, to me, it's kind of insane not to even have one test for the man just to make sure that they're in okay mental health because they're interacting with the child and the mother. So
exactly,
why does that have not a concern? It doesn't really make sense when you think about it, but then again, that's why there's these domestic abuse situations. And a lot of times there are kids in those domestic abuse situations. And they're wondering, man, why did this person become abusive? Maybe something happened after they had kids and, they never were able to
get treated or even identified. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the thing. We need to definitely look into that. That doesn't make sense to be so sexist that men don't get the same treatment as women in terms of that. Men can't be depressed. They're just strong.
They're strong as bull. That's crazy.
Yeah, strong like bull. That's it.
Nice. Question 19. If you could do anything different before having KJ, what would you have done?
Really just one thing is I would have purchased more food for him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just to be prepared for his large appetite because it'd been nice to have a big stock load of stuff and just feed him and not think are we about to run out? I would have just done that.
Nice.
That's the only thing I would have changed though. See, but it's pretty simple.
For me, I would say this is a great question because the laboring process is something I would have done differently. So we went in because I was going to be induced when I was 40 weeks, and my body wasn't dilating. I think at the time I maybe went in and I was at a 1-ish, maybe going in, and then I spent 2.5 days laying on my back in pain, uncomfortable, trying to dilate. Did not get. I got up to 9 centimeters dilated and couldn't get past, and then we ultimately had the decision of, okay, let's go through with the C-section. But that 2.5 days of suffering was cruel and unusual punishment that I would have avoided if I knew that was going to happen. So my personal thought would have been, if you're at 40 weeks and your body is not naturally dilating, maybe it's a sign that your body doesn't want to do that. And so you just schedule the C-section and move on, as opposed to going through pain, trying to get there and then being like, whoopsie, and it's not happening. And then it's thank you for all of that
stuff. Yeah.
Pain, suffering, and medication for nothing.
Good point. Question 20. What must-have items do you need for your newborn?
Ooh, I would say pacifiers or passies, burping cloths. We love the ones from Amazon. We'll share all of our recommended links in the episode on WokeNFree.com. We are a fan of the Enfamil NeuroPro formula, right? So that's a good stuff. And then a good nursery chair is definitely a must. Our little one loves to be rocked. and to sleep on top of somebody. So that's been a very good purchase so far.
All right. And then, yeah, just to add that you probably want to get the formula, even if you are breastfeeding, just to make sure your baby gets all the nutrients they need. Because often the breast milk doesn't have all that. That's what people don't realize. And pediatricians will eventually tell you to supplement your breast milk with formula. So I just say get some, because that's just a good way to go. You never know, you might need it. And 2 is, of course, you need diapers, because these babies gotta go somewhere, and you don't want them to go on themselves and on like in their bassinet or in their crib. So make sure you have some diapers on hand. You would like to have some baby wipes to clean up those baby bottoms and all the other parts. And then since you have baby wipes, you probably need some diaper rash cream, something to make sure that they're not getting too irritated. And another good thing, it doesn't work for all babies, but I would just say have a couple of those pre-made swaddlers, because it makes it so much easier to swaddle them than compared to like taking a blanket and trying to figure out how to wrap them. And if it's tight enough, the pre-made swaddlers are easier.
Just be mindful though, because babies get a little bit warmer and stuff, so it can, kind of irritate their skin a little bit too. So just
unless you're in Alaska though.
Very true. So shout out to people in Alaska.
Yeah. And you have a couple swaddlers.
Amazing. Yeah. Question 21. What will you treasure most from this time with KJ as a newborn?
I'll just treasure him trying to eat my face after kissing him.
The bamboo.
I think I just love that little Khalil.
Narcissism at its best.
No, that's not narcissism though. That's just me explaining.
Yeah, because you had to say Khalil. Now I'll refer to him as Jordan.
No, you won't. That's not it. You know his full name.
KJ.
You know this guy's full
I
name.
think for me, the what I treasure the most with him is every time I could soothe him when he goes from like this crazy demon banshee situation to this like yummy, delicious, like calm baby in my arms. I feel like I have superpowers, and I feel like I have a purpose that I didn't even know I had a purpose for. And I just feel powerful and loved and appreciated and celebrated by this little person. And it's, I feel very bonded to him and very connected to him. I feel like, sometimes they say home is in people, and I feel like home is with him. Like I feel very safe with him, and I feel like I can protect him, and I can love him, and I can cherish him, and we can have a beautiful life together. And I can't wait to hear everything from him. Every silly noise, every story, I want to see drawings, I want to see sports games. I just want an entire lifetime with him. Every time I see him, I'm just like, I can't wait for what's next. So but yeah, definitely the calming powers that I have over him is sweet. And so we'll see how long that lasts, right? Or if he eventually becomes old enough and he's like, get away from me, and it's like, oh, and there goes that.
Yeah, you don't know how long that lasts.
We'll see how long I can always calm Boom Boom. But that's our incredible son. And it looks like we are at that time again. It's coming to the end of our 206th episode of Woke and Free. You're bizarre. This was quite the episode doing a special WokeNFree story time called 21 Questions About Newborns.
Come back next week for the new WokeNFree Wednesday episode. Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you'd like to be a guest on the show, definitely make sure you submit on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That's WokeNFree.com. For social media, you can always hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn at WokeNFree, and then all collaboration sponsorship opportunities. Again, Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do share the episode, and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokeNFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokeNFree is more than a podcast, it is a way of life. Until next time.